yeah, I think everyone needs multiple streams of income. And so it's super important. I can't imagine not having that, because the security you get, the feeling you get of confidence, of like financial confidence when you have that. One could take a dive 1 month or have a rough month, and yet you're still good. You're still able to make good decisions in life, because it's really tough. I've been there many times where you have decisions in life, financially or business or family, and if you're stressed about financials, you're not really making the best decisions typically. It's a very stressful point of view to come from. So really important to get your financial side of your life in check so that you can live a great life.
You have to begin by being rich and wealthy in your mind before you become rich and wealthy in life. The real purpose of financial wealth is for you to be able to finance your personal mission for your life. It's your freedom money.
We're here with Cesar, and Cesar, we just spent the last 25 minutes or so talking about opportunities within your business. And I'd love for you to kind of just share with our friends that experience.
Well, it is amazing that you guys reach out to just talk about my business and make me realize what I'm probably missing and what should just keep doing or keep growing and expect on my business and in terms of growing in the future. I feel like for new agents, it is important to have these conversations so your mindset is in place and you get motivated every day to just keep going.
Awesome. Thank you, Cesar.
That was well said.
Mentorship and coaching is so important because if you think about it, our entire lives, we have had coaches, teachers, people who help us grow, and it should be absolutely no different with business.
You can almost overdo it at KW. So we have our initial coaching program that you join as a new agent, which is productivity coaching. We also have growth coaching, advanced coaching, and then Keller Williams offers MAPS coaching, international training. So, you could be in training and in class every day of the week if you really wanted to.
And whether their goal is 100 transactions a year or they're more focused on lifestyle and fueling whatever it is that they're trying to do with their life, we have coaching that is tailored to whatever they need to grow their business.
I sit back and reflect on my time with Keller Williams Realty Centers. I can see how much I've already continued to grow, and the people around me and the people that I've met here and the journey and trajectory that they're on, that I'm building a life that I'd never imagined for myself.
Over the last 10 years of being in real estate, I can honestly say that these last 2 years have put me in a place where I can create my life for myself and my family that I didn't even know was possible.
So how does an agent make their business more profitable? Well, I think the first thing you need to do is you need to have a plan.
Understanding the fact that we have certain revenue goals, but we can't have those goals and reach those goals if we don't understand what our expenses are and creating that net income.
Have a plan, keep an eye on the numbers, and then just keep redirecting every time you think you're off course, or just keep checking in.
Because at the end of the day, I can show you many agents that do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of transactions every year, but their expenses equate the amount of money that they bring in. We want to change that conversation. We want to change the conversation to it's what you take home at the end of the day. That's what matters to us.
Everybody has bought and sold. I'm like, really? Everybody has bought and sold.
Something that's fun, that gets people to take a second look.
Post on Facebook 10 times a week.
We had another model moment.
You need to tell people how you're winning.
The technology is supporting our efforts, not leading our efforts.
Every agent is posting, inventory's up and all this and doom and gloom. I'm going, hey, there were 7,200 homes sold last month in the Phoenix market.
Right. Right.
There's this pressure to have omnipresence, be everything to everyone all the time. I'm a believer that is not possible.
I gotta hit pause. You're throwing a lot of value, which is your motto.
It's pretty sweet.
I don't know if it gets any better. We call this kind of the Disneyland for the real estate entrepreneur. And
wherever you're thinking today, just 10x it.
Hey, everybody, if you like that, there is so much.
It's not coming. It's already here. What is it? It's your moment. The crucible that will reveal whether you're ready for the ride or destined for defeat. Your competition was built for easy street.
I don't know. Gary, are we live right now?
Well,
I don't think Gary knows what's going on.
it ain't Mr. Rogers' neighborhood anymore.
Are you on mute, Gary?
It's time for your entrepreneur side to strap in and hold tight. You have the tools, the training, and the technology. Command the moment, charge the storm. It's your time to thrive.
Oh, Jen. We might have to take it away here.
Beautiful. Okay, so just to give you a heads up, yes, Jen, we were live. Stevie, we are live. I wanted to show that. I wanted to show that video because, of course, we've just come back for family reunion. We're going to get into that in just a minute. But how's everyone doing?
Good.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, now's when you can talk.
Now we're all thrown off now, Gary, because we're like, should we talk? Should we not talk? What's happening?
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Charge the storm. That was the big theme from family reunion. And I thought we'd spend like just a moment or two to explain what Charge the Storm means. Because if you've never seen it before, you'd be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Charge the Storm is actually a really cool analogy that I'd never known about. I don't know about the two of you. Well, here's the thing. In a storm, when a buffalo senses a storm, what does a buffalo do? Or a bison? It
runs into the storm.
Yeah.
Faces the storm and charges through it because a buffalo feels that if it does that, it will get through the storm faster. Right. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was such a cool analogy. KW has been running with that theme, I guess, I'm not sure if they launched it last family reunion, but definitely throughout this last summer as we kind of face the new marketplace, if you will. Right. Yeah. I love that analogy. I don't know about the two of you, Jen. I think it's amazing.
No, it's awesome. I didn't know about it either. So I wasn't at family last year. So this year for me was like the first time it really was discussed and made, on the main stage. And I was like, that is interesting. And also, very logical, which, I love. I love logic. So I'm like, yeah, if you just go into it, you'll get through it faster. Makes sense. Right. And it applies in every way, right? To any way that we look at it, whether it's our business or our personal lives or a decision we're making or whatever. The more you take it head on and get through it, the faster you get to the other side and hopefully the result that you're looking for. So, it's a great concept just to keep in mind when you're struggling with something.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know about you, Steve, I didn't realize this either. I'm learning about livestock at the last few weeks, but it's interesting because, even though we kind of themed today's team meeting around a strong community, when a storm comes, guess what cows do? They all huddle together and they turn and run the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Well, Stevie, KWRC, definitely our community is not a community that does that. We do come together, but we turn like the bison, right?
Yeah, we do. And I'm the same as Jen and same as you, Gary. Like the fact that they got that analogy off of an actual, that buffalo actually do that. I thought it was, just like Jen was saying, it was a way of saying, take it head on. I thought they just used buffalo as the mascot for whatever reason. I didn't realize it was actually a thing. And it's so interesting. But yeah, KW, we're definitely all about facing it head on.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So here's what you can do. I want to know in the comments, have you ever been to a family reunion before? Just put that yes, even no, put it all in the comments. Today's obviously meeting is going to be based around what we've all took back from family reunion. We've got some of our own agents that are going to come join us as well and talk about their first time experiences And, you know, Jen, Stevie, and I, we've been many, many times before, but it's always, I don't know about the two of you. I always find it really intriguing to hear from people that have never been before, because it, you know, when we go, sometimes, or some things, we take things for granted, right? But when you have somebody that's been for the first time, or perhaps somebody that hasn't been for many, many years, it's kind of cool to get their perspective. We're going to jump right to you, Jen, and we're going to circle back. And throughout today's meeting, we've also got Gail Hurst, who's going to come on and talk about some of the new enhancements that we're doing to our broker team. We've got Charity coming on board to talk about, you know, some of the mortgage changes and things that she's adding to her team. And but I want to know from you, Jen, some of the quick highlights for you from Family Reunion.
Oh man, it's always hard to answer this question, right? Because there's so many good things. But from the training and the main events and that side of things, I think my biggest highlight, I went to a lot of leadership stuff this time around. Usually I've done agent or coaching, so that was my first time venturing that way, which was nice and refreshing. And my biggest takeaway from it was, you know, part of KW's vision and who we started as and who we continue to be is a team of trainers and a company that provides support and value to our agents. And the more we can just remember that and provide that to our team that are already in our brokerage and house, the more we'll grow organically anyway. And it's always a great reminder as we go through a shifting market that knowing what to do, how to do it, what to say, the systems and all of that, it's more important than ever now that we get that into our agents' hands and make sure that they're equipped to get through the storm with us, right? So kind of like the herd of cows, except we're just going to turn around and point the right way. So same idea. And so I think that's something that I want to bring to the brokerage this year and continue to do at a higher level. And then from the social side of things, I mean, you know, hanging out with everybody in the evenings, getting to know everyone a little better. We had a lot of new agents this year, so it was very cool to see them experience it and hear their takeaways. And some of them are exceptional, what they got out of it and what they've already implemented into their business and seen results on. So my biggest takeaway from that was that even though we've done it a million times, we can still see it as something new through other people, and just kind of being there to experience that always adds value to my experience.
Yeah, outstanding. Stevie, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think for me, the two things that stood out from the, you know, learning side of it was much like I think everyone, the keynote speech this year was so good. It's always so good. Like, it is always very powerful. But Ed Mylett this year was absolutely incredible, as well as Molly Fletcher, who wasn't the keynote, but I keep referring to them both as keynote speeches.
Oh, absolutely.
They were both so good. Obviously, the theme of that, again, it was all about like charging the storm and just, you know, life circumstances and things happen. And it's just about how you handle things, and how a lot of times those down moments end up being the exact reason why you end up on top, which I think is so important. And it gives you different perspective of how things can really be so bad and you can still succeed. And I remember when I was starting in my first few years of like just really struggling, hearing other people's stories of them being in like a worse position than me, you know, on paper, and then coming out and finding success and making it always brought me a sense of comfort of like, okay, I'm not doing so bad here. Like I can do this. There's still a chance. So that was a huge takeaway for me on that one. And then also too, yeah, the social side of things. I think our brokerage event was a highlight night for me for sure. For those of you guys who don't know, we arranged like a little booze cruise for our brokerage. So we always do something every year at Family Reunion that is just for our guys, for KWRC, for us to spend more time together and bond. And we had like a little bus take us to multiple breweries, and we got to have some beers together. And it was just so fun. I might have gotten a little bit of a lap dance from Melissa Taylor. I think that was weird, but it was awesome. So much fun. So yeah, those were the highlights for me for sure.
Yeah, and Caesar has an important question. He wants to know, how is the Selling Sunset audition?
So I did not actually audition for Selling Sunset. I have to tell you guys that I would never leave KW even for Selling Sunset. And yeah, I thought I got to say though, I was almost offended of how many people believed that I actually was auditioning in the outfit that I was in. That was my biggest takeaway from that. So yeah. The audition that didn't happen was great.
And I think from my perspective, and we'll talk more along the way here, it was really cool to see, quite honestly, you, Jen, and Stevie, not to be introduced, but to meet your peers, other team leaders, other leaders, other, owners of brokerages. And, we're going to talk about this along the theme here too today. Who you surround yourself matters. And those conversations are now different, perhaps you might say, than what you were having 2 or 3 years ago, because of just that level of engagement, the level of where you're at. It's really cool to watch. So congrats on, surrounding yourself with new people, because that's what events like this is all about. Okay, we got to move on. This is great stuff. We're gonna say bye to Stevie for a moment, and we're gonna bring on one of our favorites, Megan Waller. And this was your first time. I'm gonna hand it over to Jen, and you take it from here, Jen.
Absolutely. So actually, Megan's second time at Family Reunion. She was there once before, and it was a lot of fun. We had some Korean barbecue, and we did some training events together, and we did the booze cruise, as you guys have heard. So lots of time together. And Megan, what I would love to know is, I told you earlier, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. And so the first one for me is really, as somebody who's gone for a second time, having it been, you already went as a newbie, and now you're gone back and you've got a different outlook on the event itself. What did you see differently on your second time around, and how did that either impact or affect the experience that you had?
I think that Family Reunion has got something for everybody. When I went the first time, it was in 2018, and I was a new agent. And of course, it was like drinking from a fire hose. There was so much to absorb. Going back this time was great, because it was going deeper on some issues for me. And I was very struck by how we think that we're going to spend the $3,000 or whatever it is to go to Family Reunion. And no matter how long we've been in the business, we're tempted to buy into the idea that there is some secret sauce that I am going to get when I get to Family Reunion. There is some magical thing that I'm going to pick up in Family Reunion, and I'm going to bring it home, and it's going to transform my business. And I'm always amazed. I was amazed in this situation that on the one hand, there is no secret sauce really. And on the other hand, there is a secret sauce. And the secret sauce is just going back to basics. I was so reminded again, just like the first time I went, that this is really a simple business. It doesn't mean it is not sophisticated. For some people who've got big teams, it can be very sophisticated, but really it is a simple business. It's about serving people. And it was really refreshing for me to go back and just to hear that, to go, okay, you're on the right track.
Yeah.
The track hasn't changed since 2018. It's the same track.
Right. Stop getting off it.
And you just have to apply what you already know.
Right.
And there isn't any magic bullet. So for me, it was really good to refresh myself, and also to hear some new innovative ideas.
Yes.
It was great.
I love it.
I mean, I think everybody should go at some point.
Yeah.
It's very good for your business.
It's hard to describe it, right? Unless you're there, it's a very difficult experience to actually explain to somebody else. And I love that. And I know that you had some amazing takeaways that you were able to plug into your business right away and get some results from. So can you share that with us a little bit? What did that look like? And, what did you do to make that happen for you quickly?
Right away. I think the biggest takeaway for me, Jen, was that it was something that Molly Fletcher, and she is a sports agent, it's something that Molly Fletcher said in her talk. And she spoke about not being purely transactional in our business, and how she lost a deal because she had treated the client as a transaction.
Yeah.
And she hadn't treated the person personally. And it really stood out for me and made me realize that I need to just be the authentic Megan.
Mm-hmm.
That not everybody is going to like me. I
Right.
think I've come to the place in my business where I accept that. I settle back into that. Not everybody's going to like me, but I am who I am, and I'm happy to be who I am. And I think very often as agents, we go into our business and we say to ourselves, if only I could be like this person, or if only I could have that person's personality, then I would be more successful.
Right.
If only I could speak that way or do that thing or be young or be whatever, then I will be successful. And the takeaway for me this year was that has actually nothing to do with it. Personality has nothing to do with this, because the takeaway at Family Reunion is there are so many different realtors. There are big ones and little ones, tall ones and short ones, black and white, and every culture and every accent and every personality. You will see a realtor walking around with a tutu and a crown on her head, and another one in cowboy boots. There is the full spectrum of personalities. And my takeaway was, Megan, you be yourself. That's who your clients have hired. They've hired you. They haven't hired somebody else. And the moment our clients feel like we are not being authentic, then we lose them.
Yeah.
And they can smell fake very quickly.
Yeah.
And so my takeaway was to just be who I am, to choose the few selected handfuls of ways to lead generate, and to lean into that. And for me personally, it is working with my sphere.
I love it. And what's so great about that too is that once you commit to that and you are just your authentic self, you're going to attract people that are like you. So it's actually going to make your business easier as opposed to making it harder because you're trying to be somebody that you're not, which, as a coach, I shared this with you earlier too. I hear that constantly. I wish I was older. I wish I was younger. I wish I'd started this many years. I wish I could talk like that person, or I wish I could cold call like X. And you're going like, you don't need to do all of that stuff. You just need to do what works for you. And the one word I've heard you say multiple times is discipline, right?
Well,
that was a big one for you. Yeah.
Then that is the secret sauce.
Yeah.
And that is my takeaway, is that, Megan, it's about how disciplined you are. It's not about your personality.
Yeah.
It's about how disciplined am I, and how committed to my systems am I? How disciplined am I going to be? Am I going to treat this? Am I going to wing this? Or am I going to be committed to treating this as if this is a job?
Yeah.
And this is something that I do. And so I think my takeaway is just becoming more disciplined. Now, is it something that I hadn't heard before? No, I have heard that all the years of being at Keller Williams. So it's not new. It's the
not
same
new.
old.
You just heard it in the right way, right? And that's all it takes.
And I came home with it again.
I love it. Thank you so much, Megan.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Megan, that was outstanding. We can almost end the meeting there, but thank you for your authenticity and leading that charge for us. I wish you all the best and continued success. Thanks, Megan.
Thank you.
Very good, Jen. That was great. We're gonna say goodbye to Jen for a moment, and we're gonna welcome. I think, Gail. Are you like number one or number two? Meaning you've been with us for the longest amount of time with KWRC.
Well, Marvin has a couple days on me, but yeah, that's my claim to fame here.
Well, he's not here today, so here we go. Welcome, Gail. I just love that you've been with us for I don't want to say such a long time, because
I think it's since the dawn of time, Gary.
Okay, we'll go with that. Dinosaurs were walking the earth. I'm kidding. Gail, you provide such a valuable service to us as a brokerage, and you're using your skill set in such an important way. And when we brought on Jonathan, our broker record, about 9 months ago now, his vision was how do we enhance and add to our broker team. And Gail, you've been providing that. Providing us with such a great service and enhancing that. Talk to us today about how that gets even better.
Well, thanks, Gary. That's really kind of you to say. Jonathan is off today doing some broker duties. So he's asked me to step in and just sort of take this couple of minutes just to explain to everybody these new enhancements that you're describing. Jonathan's vision was to expand his role to an entire team, of which I am happily part of. So the Office of the Broker of Record is being rolled out as a big enhancement to just the role of the Broker of Record in the office to be a larger team. Of course, I'm helping him largely with compliance and a few other things, but compliance is my largest role. But of course, we have the broker hotline. So people are free to reach out directly to the broker hotline. That number is right on our MyKWRC page. If anyone needs that number, it's a really handy number to have, because when you are in that panic minute and you're with a client or you're in your car trying to negotiate something, you don't want to be fumbling around looking for that number. Keep it in your phone. That broker hotline is your key. And we've got some great brokers who are accessible all the time. So the point and of course we have an admin team supporting as well. But the whole point of the Office of the Broker of Record is that it's not just Jonathan's face. There's a whole team of individuals who are doing our best to serve and provide where we can the best information and service to all of the partners in our brokerage.
Fabulous. I love it. And I know when I talked with other agents from other offices, whether KW or not, and we start explaining the broker team that we have, this doesn't exist in a lot of other brokerages. So don't take it for granted, my friends. Leverage the broker team, because they're there to help and guide, and most importantly, support us and our clients. Right, Gail?
It's true. And Jonathan and I, we had a fairly significant brainstorming session yesterday. We're trying to find new ways of interacting and communicating both ways with everybody in our brokerage. So we've got a few things coming down the pipe. We're working on a few things to see how we can keep involved and keep everybody informed. We do have a great training session coming up in March to do with the new foreign buyer ban. Things like visa students, can they buy? What if you have a working visa? Can they buy? Canadians living abroad or foreigners living in Canada. There's a lot of questions that Jonathan has the answers to, and I'm there to help. But, what communities can foreign buyers actually purchase in Canada? We're going to be covering that in a great training session next month. Look for that on the training calendar. And we're also going to be reaching out to everybody to find, not directly, but not one-to-one, but we want to hear from everybody and find out what do you want to hear from the Office of the Broker of Record? What training or what newsletter information? What do you want to see and hear from our office?
That's outstanding. Well, Gail, thank you to the team and for your leadership there. And I got to tell you, it's not, as I said, not every office or brokerage has this great support team. Leverage it, use it to your advantage. And Gail, thank you so much. Appreciate everything you're doing.
My pleasure.
All right. Okay. As we say goodbye to Gail, I'll invite Stevie on. And that means we're going to introduce one of our new favorites, Christian Nacarado. There's my man. And Stevie's going to talk to Christian about his experience at Family Reunion.
Yeah. So unlike me, so Megan was coming back for her second time. Christian was a brand new first timer this year. And Christian, I want to ask you just in general, what was your overall experience at Family Reunion for the very first time? And what was your absolute favorite part about it?
That's a very loaded question because there's so much of it was so great. I got home and instantly I said, I'm booking my ticket to Vegas. So It's just kind of an overall, you get a lot of camaraderie. You get to rub shoulders with agents who've been in the business for 20, 30 years. You're learning from all these people from all over the world. And I had a breakout session. The lady was from Turkey, and she's talking about how important it is in Turkey to be the #1 in client satisfaction and service and all that. So there's just so much opportunity that you get that you wouldn't really get sitting in the office.
Yeah, right. I know we've always said that even sometimes when you feel like you're doing things right and you're on the right track and you're closing deals and whatnot, and you're feeling good about yourself, you go to Family Reunion, you're like, oh my God, I'm really not doing that much compared to some of these people. So it's definitely an eye-opening experience for sure. What I know you really went to like sessions and absorbed, and like you came back with pages and pages of notes. What is the one thing, or, you know, the first few things that you are bringing back and implementing into your business right away?
So I was going through my notes last night. I think I have over 100 pages of notes.
Oh my God.
From all my sessions. So there's a lot, and that's why it's a very tough question to answer. But just going through everything, one of the things that I've highlighted the most in these notes is focus on relationships and be kind of the one, right? Not be the one to, when somebody answers somebody answers your phone call, they're like, okay, are you trying to sell me a house? Just be the guy who you, or girl, or you call the person, and then they say, you know what, thank you very much for calling. I could use your help right now. Put them in touch with somebody. Talk to them like a person instead of a number on a sheet of paper, and it'll go miles. And that's what the majority of the breakout sessions talked about.
Yeah. I know. Like, it's funny because like Jen mentioned earlier, her and I both are, focusing on more leadership stuff this year and less of the agent stuff. But something that I'm hearing from both you and Megan is a huge focus, it sounds like, on this year in general, and a lot of the breakout sessions and everything is exactly that, the client service. It's just being the best realtor, like making people have such a good experience with you that not only are they going to want to come back as a client, but refer you too, right? Like, that sounds like that was a huge theme.
Yeah. It goes so far as like that lady from Turkey I was talking about. One of the things that they do after every time they close is they choreograph a dance for each individual. And show up at the door, ring on the doorbell, and it's her and her team, and they do a dance. And there are clients that she had that are like, am I getting the dance? Like, when is this going to happen? Right. So that's something where people really look forward to that. And that's something that comes from you, right? I'm not going to be going and doing a dance anytime soon. I don't think anybody wants to see that, but
you'd be surprised.
Just stuff like that, where what's something that means a lot to the client is what you should be doing more than ever.
That's crazy. They talked a lot about your signature system at Family Reunion, right? Like, that's a signature system if I've ever heard one, for sure. That's amazing. Tell us a little bit about, the last thing I'll ask you is, tell us a little bit about your experience. I know you ended up, and I had told you before going into Family Reunion that I had felt like one of the most valuable things was the networking and the rubbing shoulders with people and all that. And I know there's a gentleman that lives, kind of near us in our area, who is number 1 or number 2 every year as an individual agent in all of Canada. And I know you seized the opportunity to make sure that you went and met him, and we're going to connect with him after Family Reunion. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I have Gary to thank for this, because Gary kind of soft introduced us at the airport. Believe it or not, the 2 hours we spent trying to check our bags in paid off big time. But he was wearing a pair of Jordans. I like Jordans, so I went up to him. I said, hey, nice shoes. And then we started talking about a bunch of stuff we like. He was wearing a jacket. I had the same jacket. We were talking about this, that. And then now I'm setting up something next week. We're going to sit down, talk about his systems, how he operates, how he does so much business with so little overhead. And it was just such an experience where I couldn't have done that had I just followed him on Instagram and sent him a message and said, hey, you want to talk? Like, who am I to him, right?
Yeah.
But because I'm standing there right beside him and we get to talk face to face, and not just him, it goes for a lot of agents there that I was talking to. It's just, you can't get that here. You have to be in an environment where people are open to talking and they're excited to meet new people as well. Here, everybody's busy, right? We're at work.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you, so the gentleman that we're talking about is Nate Brower, who is the number 1 individual agent in all of Canada. I think he was number 2 this year, but still, I mean, guy to learn from for sure. And Christian sees the opportunity, and now they've developed a relationship. And that's, Gary, we always say this, that's where the value is. It's those relationships you take back from Family Reunion and that keep on giving even after Family Reunion. So that's amazing, Christian. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Excellent stuff, Christian. Thank you. Okay. Well, that's it. As we said, this is going to be Family Reunion based. And as you can see from both Megan and Christian, you know, the experience is really meeting people. And that's what our business is all about, right, Stevie?
Yeah.
You know, okay, perfect. Let's move on. We'll say bye to Stevie for a few moments. And there's more to life than family reunion. I get that. Like our mortgage industry and financing, because that's kind of a big part of what we're doing here. So we're going to invite Charity on. Charity, you're muted there, so I think I can unmute you. Let me try again. There you go. And what's going on in your world? What's going on in the financing world? How I take it from there.
Yeah, so thanks for having me. And I know that you said we're moving past family reunion, but I have a point to add to it because mortgages is about family reunion as well. We're actually releasing a program for the Keller Williams agents that any agent that funds 5 deals through us for the year 2023, I will be paying their admission for a ticket to go to family reunion next year.
Wow. Tremendous amount of gratitude coming from the leadership team. I know when that message came out. So my friends, if you needed more motivation to go or what have you at Charity, thank you so much. And my friends, let me tell you a little secret. Take advantage of that. Trust me, take advantage of that. That's amazing, Charity. Thank you.
You're welcome. So just to add to that, what we're seeing is I have a lot of clients that are pre-approved and they're asking me about spring market and they're hoping and they're waiting and they're looking and they're asking me, is it here? And, we're seeing a little bit of early spring market. Some listings are coming up, but I would urge the agents that if they have a listing maybe that they're holding out on, or if, they know they have something coming, to present to their clients that we have buyers that are eager and waiting and ready. On top of that, because fixed rates have come down some since last year, our pre-approvals actually have increased a little bit. So like we're seeing with the prices coming down some, even though the rates are higher, we are able to get our buyers approved for a little bit more right now. And so, if you're working with clients that were previously pre-approved last year, it would be good to reach out to them and ask them to stir up that pre-approval, because it's quite possible that there's a little bit of more money available for them to borrow on the table.
While you were speaking, there's something just kind of popped into my mind, and we've talked about this maybe a year or two ago. In Charity's network, believe it or not, as much as we love her service and what she does for KWRC, she's got clients outside of perhaps our network. So what I'm saying is, if you've got those pocket listings and you're hanging on to them, or you've shared them with the KWRC family, share them with Charity and her team as well. What I just heard is Charity also has buyers.
Oh,
right?
For sure. I do. And then that's the thing. They come to me and they're asking. And I realize too, that inventory is low for many different reasons. But I have a lot of people really excited for spring market. And just another touch point about what we have available here is, fixed rates went up, they went down a little bit. And then there's a rumor that there's coming up a little bit next week. And then possibly the Bank of Canada in March. But I do have a lender in the marketplace right now where they're offering a 5-year fixed rate at 4.69 as a 120-day rate hold. So to my knowledge, that as a rate hold, that's difficult to obtain at the moment. So I'm also urging, again, the real estate agents or anyone I know, that if you have a client that's in a current pre-approval and they don't have a rate hold that yields that number, now's a good time to circle back and secure that. Now, of course, when the clients make an offer, if there's a better rate, then we'll get them that. But if, rates do tend to climb up right now, like they're saying, they might inch up a little bit, we're able to secure that for the next 120 days.
Guys, what I just heard there is you got a rate hold for 120 days for 4.69. Is that correct?
That's right.
Reach out to your clients now, your buyer clients, because this is the type of stuff that we need to go allow them to go purchase in confidence, right? And it sets their expectations of what they can afford, all sorts of those unanswered questions that they might have. Charity just answer them for us.
And it's good news. groups, right? Like what I'm telling you is like some really good news that we can reach out to people and tell them. And,
Yeah.
you know, with the media and everything, there's a lot of, you know, nervousness or some doom and gloom. And we have an opportunity to reach out to all these people and tell them some really great stuff and some positive stuff to get them excited about purchasing and owning homes, and all different things, obviously, that we can do with their homes, but to reach out and give them some positivity.
Yeah, fantastic. Always appreciate your insight here, Charity. And something, and we should highlight this now, and I'm going to throw this at you, even though you don't know what's coming, but you're kind of, I don't know what to call it other than your lunch and learns that you're now hosting. Tell us a little bit about that and how we can make sure we're at the next one.
Honestly, they've been going great, and there's so much positivity at the end. We ask for feedback, and it's literally at the end of the class, everyone's like, wow, it's amazing. You don't know what you don't know. And so we're touching on a variety of different topics. Next month, I'm speaking about private mortgages, cashback options, as well as a prompt loan. So different ways other than the traditional mortgage that we can help your clients get money. And sometimes, again, even as a touch point, just reaching out to your client saying, hey, how are you doing? If you know, because I know a lot of agents are afraid to reach out because they know it's a difficult time for people. Like again, this is a positive call where the clients tell you they're having a tough time. We have resources to help them through this tough time. And then maybe they're not going to buy or sell right now, but it's a solution to get them through this year. And so I'm going to be touching on all of those points in this next particular month's Lunch and Learn. But I am going to be sending out a survey as well, asking the agents for topics that they think they want to hear about. But so far, my topics have been really great. We did Purchase Plus improvements last time, and it was wonderful, as well as business for self products, and the feedback's been wonderful. And we give you lunch, so I mean it's a win-win. We feed you and we teach you, and hearing it from somebody. A lot of people are audio learners. They need to hear it versus see it. So having me there speaking, breaking it down in very simple terms, not terms that, you know, when you're trying to read and learn something, I think has been really valuable, and the feedback's been great.
That's amazing. And as the theme throughout today's meeting is, you know, actually physically rubbing shoulders with like-minded people. And that's, you know, where a lot of people learn and learn the best. Charity, thanks for everything that you're doing for our agents, and what a great way to go to family reunion next year. That's send 5 deals to Charity and her team, allow them to do that work for you. And hey, they'll buy your ticket for family reunion. I can't think of a better outcome than that. There you go. So all the best to you, Charity. Again, thank you for everything that you're doing for us. And hey, we'll see everybody at that next Lunch and Learn. Bye for now.
We'll see you then. Bye. Thanks, guys.
Awesome stuff. Well, Jen, Stevie, all right. So we thought we'd do something kind of somewhat unique, a little bit different. And what we're going to do is preview a couple of videos, a couple of snippets from Family Reunion. They're only about a minute long, maybe a little bit shorter. And kind of what Stevie, Jen, and I are going to do is, you know, provide perhaps our first thoughts on them. And I'm going to preface this with, these videos might be a little harsh, might be a little deep, but if you know Gary Keller, he does not, you know, he doesn't paint it all rainbows and unicorns. He gets right to the matter, and he just called it like it is. Right, Jen, Stevie?
Yep.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. So the first video is titled "Believe That You Can Be Successful." So let's take a watch here.
Whether you like or not, whether you just got in this industry or you've been in it for 30 years, you just got thrown a curve. The market is not going to be as good as it was. It overheated, prices got too high, inflation went completely off the rails, and we got a challenge. And we're going to have to work our way through this. Your goal is to be alive and be thriving on the other side, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to understand something. Not everybody can do that. There aren't enough sales for everyone to thrive. Do you understand that? You have 1.6 million realtors. Wake freaking up. Wake up. Wake up. You are literally going to have to be different if you're going to have a different outcome than the average, right?
All right, like I said, he gets right to it. Jen, what's your take on that?
Oh, so many thoughts. I think the main one that comes to my mind is it's very easy for us to hear that and go, well, that 1.6 million, that's America, right? That's not Canada. It is Canada, that we are in the same market. We're having the same experiences. And if you look at the, the data and the stats, we're going through the same curves and the same shifts that they are. So what they're saying does apply to us. So I just want to take that off the table as an excuse, first of all, before we go forward. And I think the key piece for me that stands out is you've got a choice to make, right? You're either going to be one of the people that shows up and figures it out and gets through it and doubles down on their business, or you're choosing not to be a realtor. And it's a harsh definition. And you could say those are two extreme choices. But I work in extremes, right? Because it gives you clarity. And if we stay in the gray, we're not going to go anywhere. So what's the choice you're going to make for your business, for your future, when we're faced with something that we've really never seen before? What's that going to look like?
Yeah. Stevie, what's your take?
Yeah, I love that, Jen. I love what you just said. It's so true. For me, I was just thinking about what he's saying completely reflected what Family Reunion was all about this year. And exactly what he's saying is you have to be different. It's not enough to just, have your real estate license anymore. And honestly, for the last 2 years, there was agents out there, who had their real estate license, and it was easy to stick a sign on a lawn and do it and get some business and get some money out of it and whatnot. Like, that is not happening anymore. That ship has sailed. So you actually have to perform. You have to perform to get and keep clients and to get those sales and to get clients to say yes to you over the one who's actually performing and doing the work and knows what they're doing. So that's what comes to my mind is like, it's not enough anymore to just, be a realtor. Like, you have to be the best. You have to perform for your clients.
Yeah. And I like the phrase that you used earlier, Stevie, with Christian. What's your signature system? No one can copy you.
No.
Right. And we can follow systems and models, but at the end of the day, no one else can be Gary McGowan. That's maybe a good thing or a bad thing, but it's my thing, right? And no one can be a Jen, no one can be a Stevie, no one can be a Megan or a Christian. Be yourself, as Megan said, right? Like, it's all about as I said earlier, you're rubbing shoulders with people. This is really where it matters of being, that having those knee-to-knee relationships, going for coffees, checking in on people. Christian mentioned it doesn't have to be around real estate. How do you become that person that people call when they need something? And that something is, hey, I need a new stove. I need a new whatever, or hey, in my world, I want to go mountain biking. Who do I call? Right. Just whatever that is. Mary Fernell says right here, I'm going to put it on screen. In marketing terms, what's different about you, right? Yep. How do you stand out from the crowd? We need to change along with the market, because if we don't, the market will pass us by, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And just to exactly what you just said, Gary, like about being yourself and doing that, like me, you, Jen, Christian, and Megan could all go sit down and do a listing appointment and say the exact same things. One of us is going to resonate the most with those sellers, right? One of us is going to say it in a way that just makes sense for them, or, whatever it is. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And the two keynote speakers that we had, Ed Milet, go follow him. There wasn't a dry eye in that whole auditorium of 12, 13,000 people or whatever it was. Listen to him and talk about the personality that you have to have, the human connection that you have to have. And of course, Molly Fletcher, I've never heard her speak before. I didn't know who she was. I had to look her up before we went, and I'm a fan. Oh my gosh.
She's killer, man. She's absolutely killer. And she is kind of stealthy, right? Like, most of us didn't know.
Jen kind of froze there. Yeah. Most of us didn't know who she was. She was just outstanding. She went from being transactional to relational, and that in a sense not only propelled her business, but to change the way that she looked at her business. And she's a sports agent, for people that we would recognize on Major League Baseball teams, NFL teams, like right across the gamut. She was the first basically woman sports agent to actually take some of these number one athletes to a whole new level, which is outstanding in any regard. Doesn't matter, men or women. She did it. It was pretty amazing. So, okay, let's watch the next video and we'll see what this one's called Master Your New Model. I love this one.
So what happens in a change is in a shift like this is the thing that happens is your math changes. And when your math changes, what you do, we call it your model, what you do then also has to shift to match your new math. And the people that succeed and come out of shifts, and you're going to talk about this in a second, that come out of shifts and really take ground, right? Great career, not just a great year. Remember that, okay? Are those individuals who figure out the new math and then match their actions to the math. That's all you have to do.
All right, Jen. There's a lot in that 60 seconds.
There's a lot. There's a lot in there. And leave it to Gary Keller to drop a gem like that, just mid-sentence, right? Great career, not just a great year. I love that sentence. And it just shows you how you need to be thinking, not short-term, long-term. And, the math of it all, we've been working off of math that has been pretty consistent and pretty easy for the most part for the last few years. You hit your numbers, you get your results, you convert to an appointment, you do a deal. But we have low inventory, we have lack of clients, we have challenges in our lending markets. Those numbers don't work anymore. So if you want to not only continue to make the same money, but actually take market share, you need to do new numbers. You need to look at what is your current math and what do I need to add on to that. And there's two ways you can do that, right? You can double down, which we all say, just double down and you'll be good. Or you can actually track your business and understand what your personal math is for your business. And that will look very different if you're a door knocker versus a database agent, right? So, you can get clarity on your business and run it like an actual business and understand your math and guarantee success. Or you can, ballpark a number that's big enough and maybe you're doing more than you need to, but you'll get there, right? But ultimately, if you don't know your math, you're in trouble right now.
Yeah. Stevie, what do you want to add?
Yeah, I was just thinking when he was saying you have to change your math, like what he's really talking about is our business plans, right? At the end of the year, when we sit down and we do a business plan for the next year and we go through, okay, I want to do X amount of deals this year, or I want to make X amount of money. How many, doors do I have to knock on to get X amount of listing appointments and so on and so forth? Like that's what he's talking about. So when we're talking about changing your math, those are the numbers. It's your business plan that needs to change. That's what it is. And it's like we keep saying, it's doubling down. You're having to do twice, maybe even triple the work to get the same results right now. So if you're actually trying to up your results from last year in the market that we were in last year, you're not just doubling or tripling. You're like 5Xing to be like exceeding what you did last year, right? So that is the math that needs to be reworked and that people need to really understand. It's going to take a lot more to actually exceed where you were last year rather than just stay quota or be even worse off. So
yeah. While you're talking there, Stephen, my mind went to, like, for instance, what are our experienced agents doing? Like this, our Stuart Maddens, Cease Silbernagel, in fact, Marion Conconi, all been in the business, approximately 30-ish years or so. And I don't know exactly what they're doing, but I know that their actions are connecting with the people that they know, like, and trust them. Right. Yeah. And they wouldn't have been able to sustain such a great business throughout their career if they don't stay in contact with them.
Yeah.
And I know we always say this, if you're not talking to your sphere, your database, your clients, somebody else is. Mm-hmm. So go talk to them more.
Yeah.
Go engage. I know Cease has a really cool way of lead gen, and that's and I love it. And that's hanging out when she goes curling. Yeah. And to me, that's like that would be one of my favorites, and Paul Ireland, playing hockey with his crew and sort of thing. But that's his network, or that's Cease's network. When I go play soccer, that's my network. Those are my people. Right.
It's funny. Cease was sharing with us a little while ago, and I think she shared it with you too, Gary, that she was at the curling rink and, they're on their sheet of ice for their game. And she looks across and she's like, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheets. Every single one had a client on it. right? And so she was looking at that and going, yeah, this, it's network. And she's amazing at that. Her relationship skills and her connection, that is her uniqueness lives in that space. And she's all in on that. She doubles down on that all the time. And I can tell you as a team, yeah, we are doing that more now than we had done in the last couple of years. 100%. We're upping our touches. We're connecting more. We're running a more effective, system and calls more often, care calls, offering more value adds, because that's what we need to do. And, whether you are talking to your clients or you're not, someone else is also talking to them. So not only do you now have to be, the one that they like the most and trust the most, but the one that's top of mind most often. So you've got to hit all three of those levels, because if you don't, we're down on inventory. Everybody's trying to fill up their database. So they're going to connect to your clients 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think of myself, I haven't been in the business clearly as long as some of those that we've just mentioned. However, I think it's a mindset. If I think of my friends at soccer, for instance, as friends and people I might do business with, I'm never going to get business from them.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's not my whole intent. I want to go play and try and pretend to be fit and be a soccer player. There's that to it. However, the mindset that is, hang on a second, those are my people, right? So that's my crew. That's my gang. That's my sphere. That's a different mindset. Right.
Yeah.
And I think we need to think more like that. And you don't need to be in the business for the length of time that perhaps even I have, or the others that we mentioned. I think of like a Steph Save, and she's been in the business, maybe half the amount of time that I have been, or a little bit less. But look what she's doing. She's creating, different groups in her new neighborhood and she's connecting with people like that. Don't feel like you need to be in the business, 12, 20, 30 years to do something like that, Jen. You don't, right?
No, just go create a community, whatever that community looks like to you, whether it's, moms that run their own business, or it's daddy daycare, or it's soccer, or it's curling, or it's, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the community is. It's getting together with a group of like-minded people that share a similar interest that you can nurture into a relationship. They're already going to trust you. They're going to like you. And when they need help, they're going to go to you first, because you've already proven to them that you're that person, regardless of real estate. And that's the key piece right there. It has to be, I'm that person regardless of real estate. And when you need me for real estate, I'll be that person then too. That's when those referrals will really start to kick in.
Yeah, you nailed it. And Stevie, I want to make sure that when we're talking about things like this, I'm not going in after the soccer game and sitting in the parking lot with the boys. I'm not preaching real estate. I'm just being
You'll stop getting invited to soccer if you do that. Yeah.
That's right.
It's so true. What you guys are saying is so true. Like, I can give you an example. This just came to my head when you guys were speaking about not necessarily having to be in the business for years and years and years to develop that. But two of our new realtors, Rachel and Hayden, they just got, I don't know if it was our first deal. I know for sure it was our first listing, which is amazing. And that came from Rachel's bar. So she's an avid horse rider. She's, bar like that. If anyone knows like horse people and like horse riding stuff, that is a community. Like when you say my barn, I know them from my barn. Like that is a thing. And, it just goes to show. And those are relationships that she's obviously been developing over time, and they already know her, like her, and trust her. So it didn't matter that she's new. It didn't matter. Like they trusted her, and, they got their first deal and got it sold over asking, I think, as well. And so that's a prime example of that. It's amazing. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Well, let's move on from this a little bit. And we've got some huge events coming up. Talk to us about our TikTok event coming up. Here, Stevie.
Oh, yeah. So we have on the 15th of March, I'm doing a real estate TikTok panel for anyone who is interested in, TikTok in particular. I know some people haven't really jumped on the bandwagon with it yet, and some people are trying to and want to learn a little bit more about it. So we've put together a panel. I've obviously had some pretty great success with TikTok, and then we've added James in the City, Bethany King, and Andre I don't know how to say his last name, but you get the point. The cool thing about this panel is that all of us have really good success with TikTok. We've all gotten business from it. created a brand for ourselves and a name, but we all have very different styles. So I think if you do attend, you'll definitely be able to pick up different nuggets of value and perspective and, you know, kind of how you can use different styles and it can work for you. But yeah, if you're looking to learn more about TikTok and business and really probably social media as a whole, please come out or let someone know. Like maybe if you're not interested in this, if you know a realtor that would be, like, please let them know. I think it's going to be a really good night. It's on the 15th. It's going to be an evening session. So it'll be from 6:30 to 8:30. We'll have, you know, like wine and cheese, the whole shebang. And it'll be a really good night.
Excellent. And that email invite will go out either this afternoon or first thing tomorrow morning. So look out for that. It's a great event to invite fellow realtors to. This is something that you definitely want to bring a colleague from another office. You know, let them experience what KW has to offer.
Yeah.
Stuff. And Jen, there's kind of a cool, fun culture event tonight.
Yes. If you guys haven't signed up yet, please do. I know Raya posted about it in the chat there. We are having a virtual charity poker night tonight. So we are raising money for the local food banks, Newmarket, Aurora, and Georgina. So if you go to our Eventbrite, there's a link there. You can pay your buy-in. It's $30. And then you get to play poker, be on a social Zoom with everybody else who's playing. And it's 50-50. So if you win, you do get to keep 50%, and then 50% is going to be going to the local food bank. So our goal is at least once a quarter to run a charity event that will raise money for local charities. Make sure we're doing it consistently throughout the year as part of our culture. You don't need to know how to play. It's just for fun. I am terrible at poker. You will probably take my money. That's cool. I'm all right with it. It's going to a good cause. But it's just, you know, we get to be social and we get to raise money for a good cause. So the links are on all of our social media pages, our Facebook app. They're on Eventbrite. You can go through My KWRC is all out there. I know our ALC, we're just posting it again while we were on this meeting. So just look at one of their stories and go click on the link and get yourself registered. It's tonight from, I believe it's 7 to 10 p.m.
Awesome. And we do have some major events happening over the next 30 days or so. So look to your calendars for that, and some big time speakers coming in through our Newmarket Training Center, and you will not want to miss it. Trust me. A little shout out from myself and Colin. You may have noticed that Colin's not here today, but that's okay. We still love him. He's been just being poured into by Tony Robbins and at a very exclusive event that he got invited to. So we wish him all the best. He's traveling back today, and some really neat things happen for Colin and I at Family Reunion, and that's being able to host our podcast right from the convention floor. So look out for some of those interviews. Gail, we were close. We almost had Jay Papazan, but I think we did one better. We had his wife, Wendy, and many others. So watch out for those interviews, and you can catch those on any of my socials or Colin's socials. Share those with other realtors as well. Those interviews as they come out. We've been able to line up some really amazing interviews and of agents and of people just sharing their experience with KW, their experience in shifting market and everything like that. One of my favorite interviews that we got coming out is with Julia Lachey, and Julia last year became the leader of our equity and inclusion program at KWRI, and that might be one of my funnest and most probably influential interviews, even for myself. I don't want to say life-changing, but just opened up my eyes even more to the work that we need to do as a community as a whole. So watch out for that. And we've got some really cool things along the way. So Jen, Stevie, this was a cool team meeting. I like this format, a little bit different. I should mention that if you're that agent waiting for the stats, don't fret. We put them together, a video. We won't do a video for them this month, but they are already posted on My KW. They're there. That will get emailed out to you as well if you want that link. But they're under the stats side on My KW and everything else. Jen, parting words for us.
Oh my God, no pressure.
Nope.
My parting words, it might be a little harsh, but I'm going to challenge everybody to go make a choice right now about how you want to show up for your business this year and what are the things you're going to need to do to make that happen, and go write those action steps down and commit to them every day. That's it.
Excellent. Stevie.
Wow, Jen, you went. I was literally just gonna say, love y'all.
Sorry, it's the coach in me, Stevie. I can't.
Sign off with that. Good meeting, guys.
Excellent. Yeah. Jen, Stevie, always a pleasure. And thanks to all of our guests for adding value today to our agents. We'll see everybody around the office. Make sure to check out the poker event tonight, and of course the TikTok event and your trading calendar. There's some good stuff coming your way. Bye for now, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.